Okay, this afternoon I've put up all the baseboard to here, and then I'll finish that and then put up the rest in here. So it's looking pretty nice. She's going around puttying the nail holes, and then we'll caulk and paint. And then while I was doing that, the tile guy came for one last job and one last time and grouted in here, so that'll be perfect because we'll have people here tomorrow evening and Saturday to help us, and by the morning it'll be all dry. So I think it looks really nice. Has a nice finished look, and we're gonna be moving in tomorrow night, so it's really beautiful. I like that she painted these green. So I think I'm gonna frame a stained wood like frame here, and then with like a hinge door that snaps shut to conceal this. Down the road, sometime during the winter. And then I'll show you the couches she bought, which are, oh, she cleaned the bathroom, so it looks nice. Looks really nice. So you can see the transition. She's already got towels in here for guests. They're gonna stay here tomorrow night. My brother and his kids are coming to help us move. And while she was cleaning this, she discovered, we assume it was the drywall guys, the plumber is a good friend of ours. And no one's been in here except plumber, drywall, and me and Brandy. And they punched a hole in here. It was pressed down and in. And I mean, it was such force that someone would have had to have known. And I'm guessing it was the guys that hung the drywall when they were trying to get back up on top. They set something up in there and it punched through or dropped something. Super frustrating, they didn't tell us. So we patched it with some stuff, and then we'll try and figure out what we're gonna do with that. But this is all a one-piece unit that's drywalled around and everything, so super frustrating. Beautiful day. She bought this hideous couch. A 1970s reject. First was the failed super tiny. This is supposed to be a double, but it's like a little kid's bedroom, playroom twin. So that's a no-go. Then we ordered this, or she did. And it is maybe the ugliest couch on earth. I'm cutting the boards for the pantry, and on those, you know, this, looking for the wood, I think I hauled it all off. Those shelving units that hit the floor, to go around them, I'm drilling a 1-inch hole, because that's the width of the space I need to leave a slight gap on each side. And then I'm using the table saw. Usually I'm coming in lengthwise, but on the back side I have one coming out. And then I'm just cutting down 1 inch apart to here, and that leaves me a perfect notch to set it right down in place. I'll show you inside. So it gets you around it. There's one. There's one. These aren't perfect, but they'll be covered by the baseboard. So I'm running baseboard around the back, around a little square nose piece, then back in. And so it'll cover all this gapping. And if there is like a little thing sticking out, I cut a little too far, I'll just putty it in and no one will ever know back here in the pantry. But I think everything will be covered around those. Side piece, drilled my hole, and then used the table saw to cut down into it, and it should slip right in there. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this one-handed. Nope, I'm gonna have to use 2 hands and stand on this board. There's kind of a little bit of a lip there for some reason. I'll stand on this and pry back in there with a longer pry bar and it'll cinch. That was easy. Just cinched it using the longer pry bar and standing on that. So we'll nail that in and then it should be quick. Just same cuts and pop, pop, pop on each side and then we're done. Laying hardwoods other than that one square back in the mudroom around the crawl space entry. Okay, the hardwoods are done in the pantry. I think it looks nice. And as luck would have it, those were all, they reached all the way to the back. I didn't have to do any partial cuts back in there. So I just need to come in here and wrap all this in baseboard. Probably take about an hour. And then she'll, I think she's done caulking and puttying all the way up to here. So we got our oven in. We need to hook up the gas line. The guy came and installed a conversion kit to run propane. Could have done it myself, but he only charged $100, so it's kind of nice. I just have to adjust all the burners once we hook it up to the gas over there. I still need to build the whole range hood assembly. Okay. Baseboards in the pantry. I label them all. So south right is that. And on the piece I wrote the 38 1/4 and south right. Then I have 34 3/4. Left 1. I've got left 2, left 3. Right 1, 2, 3, and back. So I'll look at my labels on the back and lay them out accordingly and then grab my nailer and gun them in. And on these I use 18 gauge 2-inch. You can use 1 3/4, 1 1/2. I just use 2-inch. And what I do is I'll go along and about every 10 or 12 inches, sometimes 8 inches, I pin the bottoms to the base stud. And even though they're pinned up and you could probably just caulk, just to give them some stability, I'll crawl along with a stud finder and every so often find a stud and throw a top half staple or brad as well. And that way they're completely pinned to the wall. And then when she caulks, there won't eventually be separation over time. And she has puttied all the nail holes and then caulked all the seams. And now she's laid down tape and she'll walk along with a roller and a brush, maybe just a roller. That's about that wide. And okay, all of the backing is on, all along the back. And then the entry. So now we just need to stem off and wrap these. And I'll come out, and then I'll put a little face piece on. And I got those all measured. So we'll go cut all those, bring them in, and I need to change my 18 gauge brad nails down to a shorter one, so probably like a 1 inch, so they don't punch through all over the place. All right, hopefully I've got some 1 inch 18 gauge. I think I do. Those are all on now. So we will measure the width and just put a cap piece on each one of those. That'll look really slick in here. Almost done. We need 7 pieces, all of them at 1 3/4. So we'll come to the table saw and just zip through those, make them all even and go quickly. Those are all on. They're a little gapped out just slightly further than I would have liked, but on a couple of them, maybe all of them. But I think they look good. Once they're all caulked and painted, they'll just blend in and they'll have a sturdy look to them. And I did shoot a nail before I put those on. I did shoot a nail down through the toe into the base just to add a little more stability to these so they don't move side to side. That's the pantry. And that's the end of the baseboards for me and the hardwoods. My job is done with baseboards and hardwoods until I do this in the coming days or weeks. But I've got to get into the crawl space there and frame it so there's a rim. So when we drop the trap door into it, it's I'll have embedded handles most likely, and the top layer will match the hardwoods around it and have some insulation, foam insulation glued to it, and we'll probably put a rug over it just to cover the seams, but I want it to look nice without the rug. So. Okay, that's a wrap. I think the next video you watch will be tomorrow, us moving in and me sitting in a recliner in that corner saying, oh, thank goodness, this is almost done. I mean, from here on out, it's just projects whenever I want to, like the garage shelving. That back corner will be something I do immediately. This range hood will be something I do immediately at the top of my list. And then everything else will just be when I feel like it. We'll get the door handles on all the doors tomorrow at some point and then get moved in. 5 months, I think. June to July, July to August, August, September. Yeah, 5 months almost exactly. It's June 12th when we started. I think it's the 10th tomorrow. And we'll be moved in on the 11th. So 5 months to the day. Ooh, I'm exhausted. You gotta get cleaned up. These hardwoods look nice. They'll look really nice when we mop it and get all this white dust off of it.